The world of firefighting is entering a new era as crews face wildfires with greater intensity and fewer resources.
But as MTN's Dennis Bragg found out, the experts say there's no one-size-fits-all solution.
With over 1 million acres charred this summer, the debate is on over what to do next year or the years after that. Senator Jon Tester continues to support a plan separating Forest Service funding to firefighting and timber management. Senator Steve Daines and Representative Greg Gianforte pressed legislative changes to block what they call frivolous lawsuits to allow more logging. But the experts on the front lines are more worried about using tools they already have with a more focused and sophisticated approach and less money.
The numbers and types of resources that we have today pale in comparison to perhaps what we did have. Gone are the days where we could overwhelm a fire with mass.
Ponson, who just retired as head of the Northern Rockies Incident Management Team, has dealt with all the big fires: Sawtooth, Lolo Creek, Roaring Lion, Lolo Peak Fire, and Rice Ridge. It was part of a forum last week sponsored by the new online magazine Tree Source. The common theme is we aren't using any of the tools to their full ability.
We really aren't going to have to compare just thinning or just logging or just burning or just climate change. It's the milieu of all of those things that we need to consider.
Right now there aren't the resources necessarily to go and do as much burning as is wanted or as much fuel treatment as desired. The Forest Service is spending all of their money fighting the fires.
Timber harvests are down from historic highs in the 1960s through 1980s nationwide, not just in Montana. Lawsuits stopped some cutting, shifting global markets stopped others. Less logging means less money for the Forest Service, but thinning and other operations have progressed. Few, if any, recent projects on the Bitterroot have been challenged in court. But getting planned projects going is harder. With less cash, firefighters are becoming more tactical.
And I see that as a tactic that we're going to use more and more to manage the effects of fire, not simply put it out.
And therein lies the new approach, using geography and the available tools and being comfortable with that.
While that broader debate continues over forest lands management, the experts say there is something you can do right now to get around red tape, and that is making your property fire safe.
Homes are still being lost through carelessness, like landscaping or a woodpile stacked too close. While the fires have cooled, the political rhetoric heats up, and getting people to trust each other and the fire agencies, deciding how to live with fire in the face of bigger fire years, is what this group sees at the top of our to-do list in Montana.
Fire's been here. We're the ones that have come. And we need to do the treatment we need to do in order to make it an environment that we can live with fire successfully in.
On special assignment, Dennis Bragg, MTN News.
And being fire safe isn't just for country dwellers.
Yeah, case in point, the California wildfires of the past month, proof that even in towns, residents need to be fire wise, as they say.